kids, where are you? It's time for all the art to tell stories.
Harry was an ordinary little hedgehog living in the cozy forest glen, known among his friends for his quiet demeanor and love of collecting peculiar objects. One day, while rummaging through the attic of an abandoned treehouse, he stumbled upon a dusty wooden box adorned with swirling carvings. Inside was a puzzle, its pieces shimmering with an otherworldly glow. A strange feeling washed over Harry as he placed the first piece. Suddenly, the room blurred, and he found himself in a breathtaking, magical world. Chapter 1: Discovering the Puzzle. Harry's excitement grew as he explored the attic. The mysterious puzzle box seemed to hum with an invisible energy. Curiosity overcoming him, Harry brought it back to his burrow and began to assemble it. The first piece clicked into place, and in a flash of light, Harry was no longer in his cozy home. Chapter 2: The World of Floating Islands. Harry opened his eyes to find himself on a floating island surrounded by vibrant clouds. The sky was alive with birds carrying ribbons of light. A problem soon presented itself. The islands were drifting apart, and the creatures living there couldn't visit one another anymore. Using his imagination, Harry came up with a solution. He crafted bridges from the luminous ribbons, reconnecting the islands. As he placed the final ribbon, a puzzle piece appeared before him. Chapter 3: The Forest of Echoes. The next puzzle piece brought Harry to a dense, shimmering forest where every sound echoed endlessly. The animals were afraid to speak, fearing the overwhelming cacophony. Harry cleverly crafted sound-absorbing walls from moss and bark, creating quiet spaces where the animals could communicate again. Gratitude filled the air as the second puzzle piece materialized. Chapter 4: The Clockwork City. Harry's third destination was a city filled with towering machines and ticking clocks. The gears had stopped turning, and the city was frozen in time. Harry noticed that a key piece was missing from the central clock tower. He searched high and low, eventually finding it hidden in a labyrinth of pipes. Once the piece was restored, the city roared back to life, and its inhabitants cheered as another puzzle piece appeared. Chapter 5: The Sea of Stories. Harry then found himself floating on a boat in an endless sea filled with glowing orbs, each containing a story. But the sea was stormy, and the stories were being tossed about, breaking apart. Harry used his creativity to weave the fragmented tales back together, calming the waves and bringing harmony to the sea. The fourth puzzle piece emerged from the calm waters. Chapter 6: The Mountain of Shadows. The penultimate piece transported Harry to a shadowy mountain where creatures were paralyzed by fear. Harry realized that the shadows were illusions created by their own imaginations. He helped the creatures face their fears, turning the shadows into playful light. As the mountain sparkled with newfound courage, Harry claimed the fifth puzzle piece. Chapter 7: Completing the Puzzle. With all 5 pieces in hand, Harry returned to his burrow, the puzzle glowing brighter than ever. He placed the final piece, and the puzzle transformed into a mirror, reflecting Harry's adventures. It reminded him of all he had achieved, not just through bravery, but by embracing creativity and problem-solving. Epilogue: A New Purpose. Word of Harry's adventures spread throughout the forest. Inspired by his journey, other animals began seeking their own paths of discovery and imagination. Harry, now confident and celebrated, became a storyteller, sharing the lessons of his magical puzzle with everyone. Thus, the little hedgehog who once lived quietly became a symbol of creativity and courage. Chapter 1. The Mysterious Gift. Emma, a curious young fawn, loved drawing, but often felt her pictures were dull compared to the vivid beauty of the forest. One day, while exploring a hidden glade, she stumbled upon an old, ornate sketchbook lying under a tree. The cover shimmered like moonlight, and her name was etched delicately on it. When she touched it, a warm glow surrounded her, and she felt an unexplainable connection to the book. Back home, she opened it and saw blank pages that seemed to whisper, "Fill me with your dreams." Emma decided to draw the beautiful lake she had seen that morning. As soon as she finished, a soft light engulfed her, and she was transported into a dream world, a sparkling lake surrounded by glowing flowers. Chapter 2. The First Adventure. In the dream world, Emma met Lily, a radiant fish with wings. Lily explained that the lake was drying up because the waterfall had stopped flowing. Emma noticed a large rock blocking the water's path and used her creativity to construct a pulley system using vines and branches from the forest. With Lily's help, they pushed the rock aside and the water gushed freely again, reviving the lake. The creatures cheered, and as Emma sketched their joy, she felt a pull and woke up in her room, the dream etched forever into her sketchbook. Chapter 3. Into the Crystal Desert. Emma grew more curious about the sketchbook. This time, she drew a shimmering desert with crystal cacti. The moment the last detail was complete, she was whisked into a golden desert under a starry sky. There, she met Thistle, a prickly but kind-hearted hedgehog, who explained that the stars were vanishing one by one. Emma realized the stars were being trapped in a web, spun by a giant spider that felt lonely and misunderstood. Emma approached the spider and offered to draw it a friend in her sketchbook. Touched by her gesture, the spider released the stars, and the sky sparkled again. Chapter 4. The Enchanted Forest. For her next adventure, Emma sketched a forest filled with oversized mushrooms and luminous trees. There she met Pip, a mischievous squirrel who had accidentally awakened the sleeping shadows, mischievous beings that scared the forest creatures. Using her artistic skills, Emma painted bright lanterns to chase away the shadows, restoring peace. She realized the power of light and courage, even in the darkest places. Chapter 5. The Snowy Kingdom. Emma's next drawing took her to a snowy realm where she met Aurora, a snow hare searching for the heart of ice, a gem that kept the kingdom from melting. The gem had been stolen by a grumpy yeti who felt unappreciated by the kingdom. Emma drew a beautiful medal for the yeti, celebrating his strength and bravery. Touched, the yeti returned the gem, restoring the balance in the snowy kingdom. Chapter 6. The Unfinished Page. As Emma's adventures continued, she noticed one page in the sketchbook that remained blank, no matter how much she tried to draw on it. One night, she dreamt of a voice saying, Your final challenge lies within. The next day, she drew a swirling vortex and was transported into a dark, barren landscape. There, she faced a version of herself, doubtful, scared, and hesitant. The shadow version of Emma mocked her drawings and her bravery. Emma realized this was her inner fear, and she began to draw radiant beams of light and comforting words around her shadow self. The darkness faded, and Emma emerged stronger, realizing the power of believing in herself. Chapter 7. Sharing the Magic. Emma's adventures taught her many lessons: teamwork, kindness, creativity, and courage. But she noticed her sketchbook was now glowing faintly, as if ready for something new. She realized she could use it to inspire others. She invited her forest friends to join her, drawing collective dreams and helping them find solutions to their problems. The sketchbook became a shared treasure, filled with the dreams of everyone in the forest. Chapter 8. A New Beginning. One day, the sketchbook's pages were completely filled, but Emma didn't feel sad. She realized that her adventures had inspired her to create new ones in the real world. She started exploring the forest and beyond, sketching her journey in a new, ordinary notebook. But to Emma, it wasn't about the magic of the sketchbook anymore. It was about the magic of her imagination and the friendships she had forged along the way. As Emma looked at the full sketchbook one last time, it shimmered and disappeared, leaving behind a single phrase in golden letters: "The magic is within you." Conclusion. Emma's dream sketchbook taught her and her friends that creativity and kindness can solve any challenge. Even without its magical powers, Emma continued to bring joy and inspiration to those around her, proving that the greatest magic lies in believing in oneself and sharing that belief with others. Oscar was no ordinary pony. With his curious mind and unshakable imagination, he often spent his days exploring the forest, dreaming of fantastical adventures. One sunny morning, while trotting through a hidden glade, he stumbled upon a sparkling mound of clay, glowing faintly under the sunlight. Intrigued, Oscar nudged it with his hoof, and to his amazement, it felt warm and alive, almost like it was waiting for him to discover its secrets. As Oscar shaped the clay with his hooves, something magical happened. His creation, a tiny bird, sprang to life, chirping joyfully before fluttering away. Oscar's heart raced with excitement. He had found something extraordinary: clay that could turn imagination into reality. Oscar decided to test the clay's potential further. He envisioned a grand flying carriage, one that could take him soaring above the trees and across the horizon. Carefully sculpting every detail, from the elegant wings to the sturdy wheels, he worked tirelessly until the sun began to set. When he was done, the carriage shimmered and then lifted off the ground, hovering gently. With a leap of faith, Oscar climbed aboard, and the carriage began to soar. As he flew, Oscar felt an overwhelming sense of freedom. He could see the forest stretching endlessly below him, the rivers winding like silver ribbons, and the mountains crowned with snow in the distance. But Oscar wasn't content to enjoy the magic alone. He wanted to share this wonder with his friends. The next day, Oscar invited his closest friends, Lily the lamb, Benny the rabbit, and Sophie the squirrel. to the glade to show them the magical clay. At first, they were skeptical. Magic clay? Really, Oscar? Sophie asked, raising an eyebrow. But when Oscar demonstrated by crafting a small tree that sprouted leaves and flowers right before their eyes, his friends were awestruck. "Let's make something together!" Benny exclaimed, his paws twitching with excitement. The group got to work, each contributing their ideas. Lily wanted a giant treehouse where all the animals of the forest could gather. Benny dreamed of a racing track with obstacles and tunnels. Sophie envisioned a library with books that contained the secrets of the forest. With Oscar's guidance, they molded the clay, laughing and collaborating. Word of the magical clay spread quickly, and soon other animals began arriving at the glade, eager to see the wonders Oscar and his friends had created. While most of the animals were amazed and respectful, a sly fox named Felix had other plans. Felix coveted the clay for himself, believing it would make him the most powerful creature in the forest. One night, while everyone was asleep, Felix crept into the glade and stole a large portion of the clay. The next morning, Oscar and his friends were devastated to find much of their magical resource gone. "We have to get it back," Oscar said, determination shining in his eyes. Tracking Felix wasn't easy, but with Sophie's keen sense of smell and Benny's speed, they soon found him in a hidden cave, surrounded by his own creations. Felix had used the clay to make towering stone walls and a mechanical guard dog to protect his stash. "Felix, this clay isn't meant to be hoarded," Oscar called out. "It's for everyone to share and create together." Felix sneered. "Why should I share when I can have everything I want?" Oscar knew he couldn't reason with Felix, so he came up with a plan. Using the remaining clay they had, he and his friends built a clever decoy, a flock of lifelike birds that distracted the mechanical guard dog. While Felix was busy, they slipped inside the cave and retrieved the stolen clay. Back at the glade, Oscar decided to do something unexpected. Instead of punishing Felix, he invited him to join their group. "Felix, the clay is magical because it brings joy and creativity to everyone. It's not meant to be used for selfish purposes. If you work with us, you'll see how much better it is to share." Felix hesitated but eventually agreed, realizing that his creations felt empty without anyone to share them with. Over time, he became an integral part of the group, using his cunning mind to design intricate and imaginative creations. The glade became a hub of creativity and friendship, attracting animals from far and wide. Together, they built a thriving community with homes, playgrounds, and even a school, where they taught young animals about the power of imagination and teamwork. Oscar's magical clay had transformed not just the landscape, but also the hearts of everyone in the forest. And while the clay itself was finite, the lessons it brought about sharing, collaboration, and the boundless power of imagination would last forever. As Oscar looked around at his friends and the wonders they had created together, he realized that the true magic wasn't in the clay, but in the friendships it had forged and the dreams it had inspired. And so, the forest thrived, a testament to what could be achieved when everyone worked together. If you like our stories, please like, subscribe, and turn on the little bell so you won't miss exciting stories every day.
You are also welcome to share it with family and friends to listen to the story together. Love you.